Assalamu alaikum. Today we are going to start our another paragraph. Rather, it's two paragraphs. One is only one dialogue. So, if you see this paragraph's context, you will see that it is the continued moment when the prisoner is being led toward the gallows, and we saw in the last paragraph the sudden arrival of a dog that disrupted the otherwise strict and orderly procedure. This unexpected interruption creates a sharp contrast between natural, spontaneous life and the rigid mechanical system of authority. It also highlights the unnaturalness of the execution. Execution is not normal, not usual, not natural. Now, let's read this paragraph. Who let the bloody brute in here? Question, said the superintendent angrily. Catch it, someone. Then exclamation mark, you will see. If you see the reaction of the superintendent, it shows that he is irritated and he is angry when he sees the dog and when he sees the dog interrupting the whole process. He uses the word bloody brute for the dog, for an animal. Brute for an animal that is showing love to the prisoner, that is treating him like human beings. So that phrase reveals his harsh and insensitive attitude. His concern is not the prisoner's fate, but the disruption caused by the dog. So that frustration reflects misplaced priorities. What you have to give priority, you are not giving priority to that. And then he says, catch it, someone. Catch it, comma, then someone, exclamation. So this sharp command, he's commanding a general command, anyone can obey it. That command is emphasizing his authority and urgency of the matter. And here the dog is treated as a disturbance, as a menace that must be controlled immediately. Just like every element within the prison system. In prison system, we have observed in 4 to 5, it's I think our fifth paragraph. So we have observed throughout this essay that is written like a story, that everything in the prison is very well controlled. Everything in prison is in order, right? A warder detached from the escort charged clumsily after the dog, but it danced and gambled just out of his reach, taking everything as part of the game. So it looks a little bit funny here. So the word clumsily is introducing an element of disorder here in this sentence. And we also find that it contrasts with the expected discipline of officials, that officers should be very well disciplined, where we don't find a discipline here. This clumsily also briefly exposes the weakness beneath institutional control. Nothing is perfect. When you think that everything is perfect, certain things happens that exposes your whole system, your perfection, your control, your authority, right? Then but it danced and till the part of the game. The dog is very carefree. His movements are uncontrolled. He's not taking care of anything. That carefree movement suggests innocence and joy. He is not frustrated. Then you see the words like danced, words like danced. If you see, let me just give me 1 minute. So you find two words. One is danced and other one is gambled. Gambled is also a movement when you are very happy, when you are very joyous. These both words emphasize dog's playful nature. He wants to play with them, and he is not aware of the grim reality surrounding it. He is in his own world, irrespective of what is going on around him. He has no idea how the situation, how grave or grim the situation is. Then a young Eurasian jailer picked up a handful of gravel and tried to stone the dog away, but it dodged the stones and came after us again. It's very interesting. It's making scene a little bit humorous, and it's taking us away from that grim and sorrowful situation. Now see, someone, young Eurasian jailer, what he does, he throws stones at the dog, and throwing stones reflects aggression and impatience. When you think that something is not in your hands, it's uncontrollable, so you shows aggression, you shows impatience. So that throwing stone, this reaction is portraying aggression and impatience of the persons, of the officials. It shows how authority often resorts to force when faced with even harmless disruption. When you have power, when you have authority, even the things which are not harmful, you treat them with iron fist. That is the dilemma of having power, ultimate power, ultimate control. Uh, then, if you see, but it dodged the stones and came after us again. So the dog's energy is marvelous. He's free. He's full of energy. He's not feeling any kind of subjugation. So, and he is persistent in his energy and freedom. So this persistence highlights its independence, and this independence or this persistence contrasts with the controlled, restricted environment of the prison. Both are opposite to each other. The dog's movements and the whole condition in the prison, whatever is going on, it yaps echoed from the jail walls. Again, a short sentence. Now, this sound imagery is reinforcing the enclosed setting, echoing, where the sound echoes, where the environment, where the condition is enclosed. It's not open. So this echoing basically emphasizes confinement, whereas the dog's noise is disrupting that silence and solemnity of the moment, right? Then, if you let us move to the next sentence. The prisoner, in the grasp of the two warders, looked in curiously, as though this was another formality of the hanging. Now, the writer takes our focus towards the prisoner. Prisoner is not giving us any kind of reaction. So there is no reaction from the prisoner. So that lack of reaction is suggesting emotional detachment. He does not have any emotions left in him because he knows he's going to die. So if you see the word incuriously, that word is very important. It suggests so many things. It indicates that he is no longer mentally engaged in his surroundings. He does not care what is going around him or where he is. He has lost interest emotionally, even physically, psychologically, even. And then we see as though this was another formality of the hanging. This part of the clause, it carries a deep irony. It's very ironical. And we see that even an unusual happening incident seems routine to the prisoner. That shows how normalized and mechanical the process of execution has become. He is thinking that bringing the dog uh, and just the dog appears and he moves around people and even around the prisoner. He licks his face. So that is also the part of this execution. He might be thinking like that. So that is ironical. Irony, you will find irony in every paragraph. So then he says, it was several minutes before someone managed to catch the dog. It took a lot of time. The time delayed, all right? The time lapsed. So that whole action, whole incident has interrupted the execution. It has delayed the execution. So that delay, that interruption reveals how fragile and easily disrupted this rigidly or this rigid system actually is. We feel that it is very powerful. We feel that it is errorless, but a very minute happening can expose the reality of the system, of the present, which we think that it's invincible. Then we put my handkerchief through its collar and moved off once more, with the dog still straining and whimpering. He's still joyous. So you see that a simple handkerchief is introduced here, and it is presenting a contrast, a sharp contrast with the heavy restraints imposed on the prisoner. That we are carrying dog with a handkerchief, but the prisoner is taken to the gallows with the chains and soldiers, strong soldiers, the guards are uh, moving around him, they're holding him, they are not letting him any chance to move freely. So that contrast, basically, you find very interesting contrast everywhere in wherever contrast is presented here. It is very impressive. It leaves strong impact on our minds. So that contrast highlights the excessive control over human life, how we control a human life, especially when he's a prisoner. So then last part with the dog still straining and whimpering, again, you will find a contrast. It is expressing, it's describing the emotions of the dog, that he's resistant, he's full of emotions. Whereas on the other side, we see the prisoner remains silent, without any emotions, without any resistance. He has given up everything. So this contrast again emphasizes the prisoner's resignation and loss of vitality. He has resigned everything to the fate, to the decision, because he knows that he's going to be executed. Now we'll find literary techniques. We find that there are 4 techniques continuously being used in this essay. that is written like a story, imagery, irony, contrast, symbolism. So if you see imagery, we find we have been discussing again and again, and you have to keep it in your mind that if you find any kind of question from this essay, you have to remember it, that imagery is vivid. He has used vivid imagery. He vivid means it's very clear. There is no confusion in it. There's no it's not, there's nothing that is not clear. So we find vivid actions, and we also find sound imagery, danced, gambled, yaps echoed, all right? So all of them create a lively scene. We create a picture in front of our eyes. Everything is as if everything is happening in front of us. So that also contrasts sharply with the stillness of the prisoner, right? So dancing, gambling, yapping, all these are opposite to the condition of the prisoner. He's still, he's not smiling, he's not showing any kind of resilience. Then if you find irony, we see that the serious act of execution is momentarily overshadowed by concern over a dog. The prisoner's reaction, feeling it or seeing it as another formality, deepens the irony. It makes it more emphatic. And it becomes painful that he is used to order and strictness, and that's why something that is happening very naturally, he's still considering that it is not natural. It is also under the control, or maybe it's part of the routine. So, and we find contrasts, so many contrasts here. Number one, we find a playful dog, and on the other side, we find a silent prisoner. Dog is happy, rejoiced. Prisoner is silent, he's not happy, he's sad, he's motionless, almost motionless, he's subjugated. Then we find disorder versus rigid system. The dog brings disorder there, and it is opposite to the rigid system where everything is under control, where everything is controlled with iron fist. That disorder that is disrupted or that is brought by the dog, it's very natural. It shows freedom. Then emotions of dog and detachment of prisoner. That is the most painful contrast we can find in this paragraph, where an animal, he is full of emotions, and on the other side, a person, a human being, has no feelings, has no emotions, has no wishes. He's not interested in enjoying certain things. Then we will find symbolism. Dog is also symbolic. He's representing here life. He's representing freedom. He's representing natural emotion. Whereas on the other side, the prison system is symbolic too. That is symbolizing control, restriction, and dehumanization. You have to remember them. Then let's move towards themes. Dehumanization is one of the themes being presented in this essay. If you see prisoner's indifference, looked on incuriously, if you find this phrase, it shows emotional numbness. He's not feeling any kind of emotions. He has been reduced to a passive object within the system. He's not showing any activity. He is feeling himself like an object. He's not a human being anymore. The way he's been treated, the way he has been kept in prison, he has lost activity. Then if you see innocence, there are two teams you will find, they are parallel to each other. One is innocence and the other one is authority. They're opposite to each other. You see, dog is presenting innocence. Dog is presenting spontaneity, whereas the officials who are guarding that place, their harsh reactions represent the cruelty and rigidity of authority. Authority is always cruel. Authority is always rigid. It does not take care of emotions and feelings. And then a third theme you will find, that is routine nature of execution. That is been obviously it is about execution, so that theme will prevail throughout the whole essay. The prisoner's perception of that action, that it is all that coming of a dog and moving around him and rejoicing, and he thinks that it is also another formality. That shows how execution has become normalized and procedural, nothing unusual. It is considered as a usual action. Then we also find power and control. The way officials attempt to control the dog just as they control the prisoner. This thing is very, very important. It reflects the strict and oppressive nature of authority. When you have authority, you have to deal every disruption, every problem, every person, every situation with strictness, and you have to try to oppress it. Then, very important theme we find here in this paragraph, that is life and death, two opposite opposite ideas. If you see energetic dog, he's representing life, vitality, whereas you see the silent prisoner is representing resignation and the approach of death. He has lost his life. He has no interest in life. He knows he's going to die. That's why he's not rejoiced. Then, if you throw light on Orwell's writing style, you will see that he has employed a simple but vivid descriptive style. His style is descriptive. He's describing actions, he's describing people, he's describing conditions, atmosphere too. And he's also somewhere we find dialogues too, that all these when are combined, that becomes very, very strong, vivid, clear, descriptive style that clears everything, that makes a picture in front of a mind. And then we see he has used dynamic verbs. He has also used sensory imagery, that both of them bring the scene to life, right? Instead of directly criticizing the system, it's very smart from George Orwell that he's not criticizing directly. He's not criticizing the system directly. He's criticizing it implicitly, not explicitly. He's relying on contrast and subtle irony, right? Irony is very subtle here. You don't find direct attack, or rather, it is indirect. Similarly, you find the detached narrative tone. Tone looks detached. That makes the cruelty of the situation more powerful and thought-provoking. Let's see how to critically analyze this paragraph. If you see, this paragraph is exposing the mechanical and unnatural nature of execution. The dog's playful interruption is highlighting the absurdity of the situation. The situation is meaningless. It also reveals how something as serious as death is treated like a routine procedure. What a pity that a procedure or something that should be considered very, very serious, because someone is losing his life. It is considered as a routine work, as it happens daily. you see that officials respond to the appearance of dog with irritation and force, whereas the prisoner does not respond emotionally. He has detached emotions. He thinks that it is part of the routine. So that thing suggests that the system has stripped him of his humanity. His humanity is gone. He's just like a machine now who's ready to die. Then we also find contrast between the dog's vitality and the prisoner's passivity. We see that both create an impact. This contrast intensifies the emotional impact. It raises our emotions. It hits our emotions. It tries to wake us up. It tries to uh, encourage us to think. Orwell does not openly condemn capital punishment. There are certain points which you should remember, and in every critical analysis you can find. But obviously, you have to give the example. Instead, he allows the scene itself to reveal its cruelty and insensitivity. Scenes that what he has presented, they are revealing the cruelty and insensitivity of system and even of capital punishment. If we see, the result is a subtle yet powerful critique of authority and institutional violence. Uh, Let us conclude it. If you see, this paragraph is showing contrast. This paragraph is showing contrast. It is contrasting innocence with control and life with death. Two, innocence with control and life with death. You find two contrasts, and they are effectively done. And we find imagery, irony, and symbolism. And with the help of these three techniques, our writer is highlighting the dehumanizing effects of the execution process. The dog's presence exposes the unnatural and mechanical nature of authority. And if you see the whole impact of this paragraph, the scene leaves a lasting impression of cruelty, routine, and the loss of human dignity. I hope you have understood it, and make notes. If you have any queries, you can ask. If you're not clear, you can ask. But I think it's very simple, and no intricate ideas are used here. It's very, very simple. A routine, a process has been shown as a routine, and there are certain ideas which have been reflected here. Thank you for watching.